Welcome back to Perks Recap. Back at it once again. We're hitting the Grateful Dead again. This is just titled Jam. There's no song title. It's just Grateful Dead Jam from 1969, very early in their career. So I know, I've heard a lot of Grateful Dead jams, so I have high expectations for this one. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Also, just want to note that this is like 28 minutes, and with my commentary in between, as I pause and talk here and there and give my thoughts throughout, we're going to go well over 30 minutes, and that's kind of the threshold that I don't like to really go over. So we are going to break this up into two parts. I don't have a specific spot that was given to me in terms of where I can break it up, so I'm going to do my best judgment as I can. Hopefully I can find somewhere around the midway point and we can break this up into two parts. But let's get going to part one in the beginning of this. Here we go. Maybe this is a good point to pause real quick. I always have said that the earlier the Dead, 72, 71, 70, basically the Pigpen era was a little bit harder, was a little bit more rock and roll, a little bit more rock, and a little bit more edgy, a little edgier to the Grateful Dead, a little bit more of a rawness to the Grateful Dead. And that is on display here, no doubt about it. This is a jam, sure, but this is not like a typical Grateful Dead jam. This is a rock band jamming. This is not just their typical kind of jams where there's kind of in and out and kind of mellow and you just kind of get into the vibe of it. This is a rock jam and it's awesome. Really, really liking it. And of course the guitars are killing it. And if you're noticing, I'm closing my eyes a lot. It's really hard not to when you're listening to this. So you'll have to forgive me for that. Let's resume. Bass too. Maybe slow down a little bit there. Let's see where we are in time. Plenty of time. Probably about halfway through this part, and a quarter way through the song. I said before it sounded like more of a rock band playing a jam, and that's true, and it still is holding true right now. The guitar is right up front. I said before, and I know you're probably sick of me saying it actually, how sometimes Jerry Garcia's solos are kind of tucked away in the background of a song, and that's not the case here. Right up front. But I was saying it's more of a rock song, and they sound more like a rock band in terms of like, I mean, they dove into other genres, even to some degree disco and folk for sure. So even maybe I would say some bluegrass and southern rock and that kind of stuff. But this is just rock and roll. This is hard. I would even say this is borderline hard rock. It's definitely rock. And I guess I wouldn't say hard rock, but it's borderline. It's getting there. And of course they could definitely change it and slow this down. They got plenty of time to do it. But I am thoroughly impressed so far with this one. No doubt about it. Let me get rid of that. It's actually fortunate that it happened while I was talking and not during the song. Okay. Let's resume. bass. Slow down a little. Listen to the drum work. I think that's the perfect spot to pause. We are about halfway through, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause it right there. This will be the end of part 1, and I'll come right back with my final thoughts for this part, and then we'll move right on to part 2. There you have it. That is part 1. We are gearing up for part 2. I hope you join us for part 2. I really, really enjoyed that. Early Dead has a special place in my heart because they are more of a rock band than any other time in their career, in my opinion. And this sounds like, yes, it is a jam, and they are a jam band, and sometimes their jams can be kind of on the mellower side, but that's not the case here. We did just slow down. That when I paused it right there, we definitely slowed down, so I'm not sure if they're going to go into a different kind of a jam the rest of the way, but so far, this is more of a rock jam, rock band playing a jam. And the guitar is just excellent. Jerry's guitar work, absolutely stellar. But the bass stood out to me more than once in this. More than once. Phil Lesh on bass, of course. Just so good. One quick question before we go, before we move on to part 2. Is this the first time they ever played at the Fillmore West? Or the East, to be honest. When was the first time, if this wasn't it? Did they play the East already and this was the first time they played the West? Was this the first time they played either one? Or had they already played them both a couple times before this performance? They couldn't have played it too much because it's 1969. So let me know if you know. I'm betting Sam, who suggested this, probably knows. So, and I'm sure he'll be watching this. So look for Sam's comments below, and he'll let us know what the situation was in terms of if they've ever played the Fillmore before this show. Anyway, that's going to do it. Please make sure you join us for part 2. I want to thank Sam once again for the donation and the suggestion. If you'd like to be like Sam and donate, information for Venmo and PayPal is in the description below. It's also at the end of this video, or hit the thanks button on YouTube. That's another way you can donate. And if you donate, I react to anything you want me to do. And once again, thank you, Sam. Thank you for your patience for me getting to this. But I'm ready to move on to part 2, and I hope you join me.